All right, I meant to say this earlier, but before we start the video, Hefe Flo and I are doing a tournament within our own community. The teams have already been selected. Everything, the timing has been selected already. The only thing we haven't mapped out is specifically what time that they will be starting at. But we do know the dates. On February 20th, 2024 will be the first game. And that'll be between Hefe Flo and Night Cantor. If you know Night Cantor, he'll be on the other team. And then on Friday, the 23rd, 2024 of February, there will be my team versus CC Big Bird's team. Now, the way we made this is basically each captain, me, Hefe Flo, Night Cantor, and CC Bird are all going to be master level players, and then everyone but below, and this is Joust, of course, will be fairly equal in terms of their rank and stuff like that. So if you want to show support, come out to that on Friday. We'll have the timing more planned out, but basically on Tuesday and on Friday, if you guys want to come out and show your support and watch these cool games, it's going to be a lot of fun, then do so. We'll be putting it in a YouTube whatever story thing. I don't know what the hell they're called once we have the final details. But again, Tuesday, February 20th, and Friday, February 23rd, we'll be hosting a tournament. So coming out and join. We'll be live on Twitch. So yeah, on to the video though. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another update patch notes review. And today we have 11.2. This is the first one that came out after the initial season 11 announcement, as well as just the game in general. So here we are, Goddess of the Sky, the new god, Nut, or as they like to call it, Newt. I'm gonna call her Nut because it's just the way it's spelled, so that's how I'm gonna say it. This is Nut. She's gonna bust a nut on the battlefield. So let's get into this. But as always, I haven't done one of these in a while, but as always, the patch notes URL will be in the description down below if you want to take a look at it. Take a look at it yourself. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So, new god Nut. If you haven't seen it, I suggest watching the actual footage of her being played. There's a lot of nuance in her kit. She's gonna seem like another god that has a high skill ceiling, just with her 3 and her ult. She doesn't have a true escape in her kit, really. Well, I guess she kind of does. It's sort of like a Merlin 3 in her 3, but it's not really the same. It's kind of a better Merlin 3, actually, now that I think about it. But yeah, other than that, she has a CC immune ult where she's actually banished for a while. But unlike Surtur, for example, when you get banished, her banish is very similar to Nuwa, where she comes back down roughly in the same spot, or no, exactly in the same spot that you use your ult. I'm thinking of Nuwa. Nuwa comes down roughly in the same spot, not exactly. But hers is you come down to the exact same spot, so you can't teleport across the map and get away. So let's go over her kit real quick. Her 1 is basically like a auto attack, very similar to Charybdis. There's one streamline ability where that part of the auto, I guess, or the ability is an auto where the surrounding part of it is actually does more damage, but it actually counts as an ability, so you can proc ability things on that. So like Crusher might be good in order to maybe get some extra damage. So if you use your 1, you can actually proc Crusher on it if you hit the small side of the think of like a Charybdis 1, but extra damage on the side. So that's pretty cool. It interacts with your passive as well. You get more stacks depending on how many hits you get with your autos or abilities, I think. So you have to hit gods 8 times to get a full stack of it, and 16 minions to get a full stack of full 4 stacks of your 1. So that is that. Her 2 is very similar to a Morgan 1. She actually seems like a lot of gods, a lot of different gods abilities into one god. It's basically her Morgan 1, but essentially the inner part of the circle, it does like a giant circle down And the first part of it, if you get the small circle, you get you get rooted, and on the other side of it is a cripple. So similar to like a cab 3. So it does a decent amount of damage, as much as a hunter would, really. I don't think she's going to be played like a ability-based hunter. I think she's going to be played more like an auto-attack based, with a lot of attack speed, but mixed in with a couple items that you could, I guess, technically go a little bit hybrid in your ability base. But that's basically what that does. Like I said, the side damage does a little bit less damage. Center damage reduction. Oh, I guess it's a center damage reduction, so it does reduction as well as a root. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the one. I'm sorry. This is the one. This is the one. I'm crazy. Here it is. The tremble and the root. Here it is. So the root actually upgrades as you level it up. Does a little bit of damage, and the damage radius is 55, 25 to 10. So that's what that is. Her 3 is, like I said, a very similar to Merlin, but you can teleport in 8 directions in a 360 circle. So you can move backwards, you can move forwards, sort of like a Thoth dash. Wherever you're moving is where you'll teleport. So that's pretty cool. You can go to the left, you can go to the right. It's basically a combat dodge, very similar to an Achilles, but a better in my opinion. It does a little bit of damage to people, either your gods or your minions. So that'll be even more damage. It's depending on how close you are to them, that'll do more damage, which also resets your 1. So if you use your 1, use all the ticks, then you use your 3, it will actually reset your 1 again, so you can have this back up. So it's kind of cool synergy. And then now we have her ult, which is Skyfall, which I was talking about. You go up in the sky and you do basically a giant bomb, very similar to Atlas 1. Actually, it's almost exactly the same as Atlas 1, where you throw down your 1 and then it converges all the enemies into a circle and pushes them that way. So it actually is a very good self-peel. If someone's chasing you down, you just ult, throw it on yourself, and then it'll push them to that location, which will allow you to essentially try to escape. It also buys you enough time, like Rama ult. If you're in a Rama ult, you basically ult. It'll give you enough time for your 3 to come in or your teammates to come in to help you, and then at that point you can come back down and then try and leave. Buys you a lot of time, on top of the fact that it's CC immune ult, so you can't really be CC'd like a Wheelix, for example. Does a lot of damage, initial damage and then surge damage. The surge damage is the part where I said like Atlas 1-2 combo. And it has a pretty regular cooldown. It's actually kind of fairly rare. I'm sorry, fairly regularly. So that's pretty cool. But you can see 3 seconds. That's actually pretty decent amount of time. But yeah, that's basically her kit. If you want to go see more in depth of what it's like, you can go check out the video that Smite has. It should be a previous live stream, but she's a pretty cool god. I think I'm going to play her a lot more. She seems like one of those gods that I like. I like having those gods that have a lot of high skill ceiling potential. Now, Mammon was one of them as well, sort of. I didn't really find her as fun, but I mean, she looks really fun to me. Being able to have this combat dodge is really good. I'm thinking like your raw ult, your Thoth ult, you could always just use your 3, or you can bait them with your 3, and vice versa. They could bait you with an ult when using her 3 as well. But she seems fairly cool, and I think that with her not having a true getaway that's like consistently far away, let's say for like a Hachi 3 and ult, she's gonna be played pretty. It's going to be more important to play her with great positioning, which I always enjoy, which is why I love playing mages a lot, because your positioning matters a lot more than it would in most of other classes. So that's going to be very cool, in my opinion. Here are all the skins for her. A lot of these skins are actually going to be transferred over to Season 2, but we're not going to go into that. Let's go down to what's actually important. So I did see a couple of these things, and that's just because I got the Discord. But yeah, so we have conquest changes. So we have red buff being decreased. I think I saw this. The reason why they're decreasing the red buff in mid harpies here, the protections, is because of the addition, or the, I guess, subtraction of the class passives. So mages are seeing a lot of struggle, as you might either feel, or just based on numbers. Not having 20 power right out the gate is not great for the mages. So they're toning this down a little bit. Stygian Beacon, they just want to increase your damage on your second capture, third capture. They just want to make it more impactful. So your third capture of it, you'll be doing an extra 100. On your second, you'll be doing an extra 50. So small things. Fire Giant Effigy, this is the part where you damage it, and I'll actually make the Fire Giant have increased damage dealt to it. Whenever I played Conquest and this was here, no one ever fucked with this thing. And I remember looking at it and doing the damage, and it took me so long to fucking kill if I'm doing it myself, that it's like, okay, well, I could just be doing all this damage on the Fire Giant. What the fuck am I doing here? Because no one else is helping me, so I might as well just do it on the Fire Giant. So I'm glad they're decreasing this a lot. I think this should be a more impactful thing. It's like a semi-pseudo objective within the objective to make the objective more easily killable. And I think it should be a lot easier to do, in my opinion. So this is pretty cool. See how that changes things. Map bosses. This is actually interesting. It wasn't supposed to be a thing where if you damage an objective like a Fire Giant or Bull Demon King on Joust, you weren't supposed to be doing 0% auto or 0% lifesteal on it. You were supposed to only do 50% less on that objective, and they coded it wrong. You know, imagine, right? And so now they changed it back to where now it's decreased lifesteal blocking debuff from 50% to 25% on all map bosses. So you should be having a little bit more lifesteal. It looks to me like you're going to be doing only 25% of the lifesteal that you have, so you're not going to be getting that much. So it's not going to have the greatest impact, but you know, before, whenever you would solo it, having that little bit of lifesteal can actually be beneficial in, you know, not dying to it. I've seen a lot more people die to that Bull Demon King trying to solo it, so this should help a little bit for your hunters and your lifesteal ability based, you know, assassins, for example, or warriors. These are the dual changes. They're unbanning a lot of other ones, some notable ones. Hoi being one of them, Bakasura and Anubis and Anhur being crazy ones. Obviously you have Freya, Gilgamesh, stuff like that. Uller, forgot Uller, I didn't see Uller there. But yeah, that should be really fun, and these ones are also getting banned as well, so that should be fun for your dual mains. Anyways, let's go into the items. So Warrior's Act, let's see, decrease physical power from 20 to 15, which, if you guys don't know, this is absolutely justified. With it, when they upped it, when they increased the power, they made it to 20, and they didn't adjust the magical. So this was like the only item that had more physical power than it did magical. And if you know anything about scaling, that's insane. Every item that there is, magical items, generally speak, no, I think almost every single item should have more power than they do physical. And I think this was the only one that it didn't, because the scaling on magical gods, it requires more power, because the scaling on magical gods are so low compared. So, but they require so much. If I'm getting that right, I think I said that correctly. Either way, Warrior's Axe had more physical power than magical power, which is insane. Now they toned it down to where now it's even. So I think that's obviously justified. Still think this is your best. I think Bluestone's still obviously good, but I think Warrior's Axe is still in a very good spot. I'm glad that they did this, because Warriors are so good right now. Alternate timeline being, let's see what they do. Decrease physical protections and magical protections by 5. Not a lot, but alternate timeline is your go-to now. I see Pendulum of the Ages more in Conquest than anywhere. So with alternate timeline being so good in Joust on your mages and specifically your guardians, because guardians take advantage of this so well with them increasing its passive like 40%. Having 40% having 40% of your health back to you when you're a guardian is way more impactful than mages, but still, yeah, five protections isn't a lot. It's still going to be a very good item pick up, just because they didn't change the passive. Horrific. Thank you. This better be nerfed. Yeah, this is nerfed because it's on the nerfs. This item is disgusting. They added so much to it. They added anti-shield, anti-heal. They still got the slow on it. Relic Dagger being one of the best items in the game, making this item fucking always up, is so good. So let's see. They decreased slow from 30% to 25%, which is okay. Increase cooldown by 10 seconds. Is that it? Okay. This item is still disgusting. With Relic Dagger still being as good as it is, unless they nerf it here. We'll see. 50 seconds off of this is the real kicker. So like, now think of it like this. If they added 10 seconds on this, it's basically back to what it was when Relic Dagger had 40 seconds on it. So this really doesn't do anything. The 5% decrease slow is good, but I don't think it's gonna be that great or that impactful. This is still gonna be very good, I think. I think you're gonna still almost always pick this up. I don't think Horrific was one of those items that they do this thing where they only tweak some things and it's been working out a lot. But I don't think Horrific was one of them. With them combining like two relics and then also adding another thing on it with anti-shield. Or well, no, I guess that would be I think that was the upgraded part of the old relic, which I can't remember, Cursed Ankh. But they added so much to Horrific. They basically infused two relics into one, which is disgusting. So they need to do more, I think, than that. Now maybe purchased until level 5. This actually was a interesting item. I didn't expect it to be such an aggressive item, but it is. Usually I've been seeing it played as you'll throw it down in front of you, and when it's in proximity, you'll be able to see them for however long. I don't remember what it was. So gods like Loki, Ao Kuang will be visible even when they like go invisible. So that was actually a very aggressive thing. It also slows. I think it's like a 20% slow, so you can actually slow them down. It's like cool little tech. So I'm assuming this being at level 5, they don't want it to be as impactful early game, because I imagine early in the game having a slow like that is really good. Demon Blade. Ooh, the crit meta. Man, how do I feel about this? In general, I think crit is in a really good spot. As much as Spectral Armor isn't a good item, I still think there's item combinations you can use to counter Hunters, with Thorns being extremely good right now, Horrific being really good right now, you having as many glyphs as you want. Breastplate of Vigilance is now a really good item to go. I mean, and then on top of that, you can just add Spectral, which isn't the greatest item. It still needs to be buffed. There still needs to be more answers to having crit being anti-crit. There's only one item that does anti-crit, which is Spectral. With that being said, I do think that crit is super fucking broken right now. Not broken, sorry. Super fucking good right now. Some people may say it's broken, but I don't think it's that broken yet. Or I think when they changed some of the items to Deathbringer specifically, because this used to be like 1.3. Now, I don't know, they're changing back to 1.2. Anyways, crit is really good right now. I don't think it's busted until like late game. Once you get late game and you have all your items online, it's disgusting as hell. With that being said, let's go to Demon Blade. Removed passive attack speed. Oh, and this was when you would... So Demon Blade, you would get crit and you would get attack speed, which was really good. This also gave you percent pen as well, and it's passive. And I still think it does. Unless they changed it. I don't remember. But this gives you so much. When they buffed the Demon Blade, there were so many things that it added to just picking it up, that it's almost like having your cake and eating it as well. It's just like there's so many things. You get pen, you get damage, you get attack speed, you get even more crit, stuff like that. So it was always your go-to after they buffed it. And it used to be Boomerang. Boomerang used to be so good. You'd build that every time, and they never changed anything Boomerang. But Demon Blade is so good that it just pushed it out of the meta. I still think Boomerang is still really good right now, but interesting. I like this. I like nerfing this item. This item is just too stat efficient for what it does. Devoted Deathbringer, they're decreasing this by 0.05, which is okay. I'm a little hesitant about nerfing it that much, but I still think this item combination is still going to be really good, so we'll have to see. The small changes I think are good to crit right now. You don't want to nerf it too much to where now, because tanks are already good right now with your warriors and your guardians and stuff like that, and even tank assassins, that if they're already getting a buff from like the earlier in the season via like class passive not being a thing anymore, and then you nerf crit, that's actually kind of scary. So I need to be wary about this, because there's always that teetering thing where warriors are busted, hunters suck. Hunters are busted, warriors suck. So hopefully we're not going into this, but as history has shown, we might be. Conduit Gem getting buffed. Nice. I like this. Conduit Gem never really... Well, actually, not true. Conduit Gem has been seeing a resurgence in a lot of mages specifically. Not really tanks, at least in Joust. Mages is a thing where being able to have this item and doing even more damage earlier in the game, although it doesn't allow you to have that extra life with alternate timeline in Joust, it does make it to where you can snowball even faster with its damage, being able to kill them, doing buffs a lot easier, clearing waves a lot easier than it is for Sands. And seeing as Joust is such a snowballing game mode right now, this helps push that. So you don't even need to get level 20 to get that alternate timeline if you buy Conduit Gem and you play it correctly. So I've been seeing this picked up a lot more, and specifically in Conquest as well. Because Conquest, if you buy alternate timeline as a mage, you're just dying anyways, even with that 40% health. But in Joust, I think alternate timeline is still going to be good, because instead of 5 people diving you, when you get back up, it's only 3, which is still a decent amount, but you're a lot more likely to get out of that position while having your alternate timeline passive than you would in Conquest, for example. But I do like this little buff here. Decreased time per stack from 1 second to 0.5. So, okay, so you get a stack every... Okay, that's actually nice. So you're getting it in half the amount of time. The passive, the Conduit, you would actually get like stacks. And based on how many stacks you'd be doing more damage to minions and gods. So you're getting that in half the amount of time, which is nice. But they're decreasing the true damage per stack from 2 to 1. Okay, so that's not as... So instead of 40, I think it's 20 now, which, I mean, if you're getting it more up often, but you're doing less damage, I still think it's a win, because you're just going to be you're going to be pumping more damage out anyways with that, just by throwing it out more. So that will be good. I actually like this change. You're going to be seeing, I'm going to be building Conduit a lot more. I like Conduit more than Sands just in general, just because of the amount of damage you can do. So that'll be fun to test out. Doing something in Archmage's Gem. Death's Temper. Interesting. I haven't seen this item in a while. This was mainly for your hunters, I think. As Death's Embrace was for like your auto attack warriors, which we don't really see much because warriors are actually so busted, but we might see that more. Who knows? Okay, so decrease max stacks from 10 to 5. I gotta remember what this item does. I think it does more damage based on how many minions you kill. And 10 is a lot. And then changing it down to 5. And then increase basic attack damage from 3.5 to 7. And then increase health from... Okay, they're doubling the health. Nice. Oh, I see what they're doing. Okay, so it's actually not. It's actually the same. They're decreasing the stacks, meaning that you'll get more stacks online quicker, which also means you're gaining more stacks, or more damage per stack, which means you're going to be doing more damage. It's basically the same item, just you being able to get those stacks and damage is actually a lot easier. So it's a hell of a buff, actually, and you just get more health for whatever reason, which actually stacks well with an item that'll be interesting, is interesting depending on how you play it, with, what is it, Crimson Claws. You can get a shield based on how much health you have. More health you have, the more shield you'll get. So you can get to like 3k health, I've been seeing, so that might have to take a look at that with these items being given more health. That might be a small little tech right there. Rejuvenating Heart. Shared healing increase from 33 to... What the fuck? This is getting... Oh my... Okay, this is getting a double increase in... Okay. Well... If you're, I mean, this item hasn't really been seeing that much play anyways. It's kind of dog, but like, and I think that's just basically from minions and stuff. Minions haven't been, you know, with your 50% decreased healing you get from minions. I mean, this item just wasn't it. But now with 75, so you're doubling it. So you're getting what? You're essentially getting 100% back, bit like on your minions if you're playing like Anubis. If I'm doing the math right. On Anubis and Hades, and then you're getting even more on if you're going against God. So if you're like in a Hades ult and you're near Hades and you're on their team, just be aware how much increased healing you're gonna get. If you're playing in a ability based lifesteal god like Anubis or Hades, for example, you're gonna want to build this in Joust specifically. I think this buffs Hades just by the item itself. Anti-heal is going to be even more potent whenever you see this item. So, you know, lifesteal may be still I would maybe really fucking go with his item, but I mean, if you get Pestilence, Xe, the upgraded Xe, you're still good luck healing. But a lot better, I think, for this item. We'll see if it gets picked up. Yeah, we'll see. Vibrant Shard getting a buff, increased physical damage scaling from 15 to 20 to 10 to 15. Yeah, I think this item just wasn't hitting that as hard as people were thinking it would. And I tested it a little bit. It just doesn't do that much damage. And why would you do that when you can either get Horn Shard or the Golden Shard, which is busted. It's turbo busted. Like, everyone's building that shit. So hopefully that gets nerfed. But this should increase it a little bit by 5%. It's pretty nice. We'll have to see how that is, but definitely warranted. Cannoneer's Cuirass. Oh, baby. I love this item. This item is so fun with its passive. It's got a unique passive, which allows for you and your team to get farmed up. And it's usually built early in the game because it's so fucking cheap. It's like, was it 1900 gold now, or is it 2k? I don't remember. I think they nerfed, or they buffed it by making it even cheaper. But specifically in Joust, I used to love this item. But the problem is that with the spooling on the old map being 7, it just wasn't that great, I don't think, because you're already getting so much gold that getting even more gold isn't going to be that great. At least it didn't feel that great. And there wasn't a lot of snowball potential on that map compared to now when we're on this map. So by switching maps, I think this item, I haven't really talked about it, but this item is still, I think, better than it was on the old map. I don't think it was that great, or is that great, but let's see. Increased physical protections from 25 to 30. Increased, okay, so 5. It's fine. I'm gonna have to test it more, but it's even better on this map because they didn't do a 1-to-1 change in the gold spooling. So now it's 6 gold per second rather than 7. So this might actually be an item I want to test out, because with this, on top of the fact that you can snowball, or if you get snowballed, you can actually kind of recoup this with this item. So this will be an interesting item I want to try and test out. Probably won't be that good of a tech item. 5 protections isn't all that much, but you know, it's worth the test, and it's always such a fun item to me. Blackthorn Hammer, let's go. As much as people rag on this item for being so expensive and not giving what it once was, especially in a setting where items like Runeforge Hammer wasn't as good as it is now because there's a glyph and everything. I still think I love this item even before. See, 150 gold, let's go, and 50% more, or 50 more health. This item I was already building because I think it's so fun. I mean, it gives you everything you want early game, as it gives you mana or cooldown, and it gives you power, it gives you health and mana. So I mean, it gives you everything that you would want early game. And so I really like this item as a first item pick, just to get that over with, because a lot of gods like your Guardians and your Warriors run out of mana very early into the game. And so last season, what you would buy is mystical earrings for 450 gold, because it'd have the MP5 instead of going straight into a gauntlet. So like this item, you don't even need to go that. The only problem was it was semi-expensive. But now that's not as expensive. This might be an item that more people are going to be picking up, and this is 100% going to be picked up by me way more. I was already building this item. Now that it has 50 more health and costs 150 gold less, oh yeah, I'm picking this up way more. I love this change. And I love Blackthorn Hammer. Titan's Bane. Yeah, this item just hasn't been seen a lot. I mean, I built this item on Camazotz last season. Nothing's really changed. Or well, yeah, no, that has changed. The passive on Assassins, you're actually getting less pen. Although, you know, flat pen, so against your tanks, it wasn't all that great, but still, I picked this up on like Camazotz. This would be really good on, because like you use your 1 or your 2 and it does 40% on top of what you probably already have. You probably already have 20% pen, so you get 60% pen on one item. It still didn't do anything. So let's see, increased power from 35 to 40, decreased passive cooldown from 6 to 5. So this is just a small tweak. 5 extra power is nice, especially for your assassins, because of the passive being gone. This is gonna be good for your assassins, and it's just been known that assassins aren't the greatest at killing tanks, at least in Joust. In Conquest, it's a little bit different, but even still, you still can't, compared to like a mage or a, you can't burst down a tank as much as you can a hunter, first of all, and then even a mage. A mage can shred a tank a lot easier than an assassin. So this is nice. just small tweaks. And then they got not gods. So Athena has always been your go-to in terms of a really good guardian that doesn't require that much skill, in my opinion. Her 2 is like one of the best abilities in the game, being a taunt. Obviously, late game, if you're taunting a hunter, you better be careful. But I mean, like taunting someone into doing something, and just like it's just one of the best setup types of CC in the game. So let's see. Defender of Olympus, that's her ult. Decreased damage mitigation from 20 to 10. Okay, so it's scaling based. Okay, that makes sense. I think, didn't they revert this? Are they reverting this? I don't remember. I don't think it may have been. I think there's so many things that they changed where it's like a flat number, and then they either buff it to where it's now it scales up based on level, or scales down based on level, or whatever the hell. So this is actually good. I don't even know why this bitch had 20% damage mitigation right off the bat. That's kind of crazy. I didn't know that. They changed Athena so much that it's like, Jesus Christ, how much information do you need, brother? So decrease movement speed from 20% to, okay, so movement speed like that as well. This is actually good. I don't think it's going to change too much of Athena. Athena's just going to be, Athena's just one of those gods. Very easy support to play. It has a lot of impact. Mom and Brigitte. By the way, I always hate saying Athena, man. That shit's always annoying. Not the greatest god, not the worst god, just a very good setup machine. So yeah, annoying. Mom and Brigitte. Let's see. Party trick. This is her 1. Increased base cooldown from 6 seconds to 8. Yeah, this item being on fucking 6 seconds, I'm assuming this is the stun, or like the breath, allowing the cooldown to come back up. 6 seconds is kind of quick in my opinion. 8 seconds is nice. Adding 2 seconds on that'll make her time to kill and stunning and running away living gonna be even slower. Her Spirit Seas, that's her 3. Decreased initial hit damage scaling from 50% to 10%. That's nice. This item, or this ability was always busted in my opinion anyways. The fact that you can do damage to someone and you can't do anything to them is annoying as hell. This bitch has 15% on the initial hits, kind of crazy. So yeah, this shouldn't even be a thing to begin with. Thoth getting a nerf. Very good. Just in general, I think Thoth has always been a good god ever since they changed his passive to have percent and more flat pen, just because. And then they changed his 3 and then made his ult even better. So I mean, he just hasn't gotten a nerf, and I think he's one of those gods that now, where before it was like, you know, you gotta play Thoth relatively well for him to be like really menacing. Now you don't even have to play him that well for him to be menacing, because he does so much damage for no extra skill, I feel like. So this is let's see. Hieroglyphic Assault, this is 1 decreased bonus scaling on subsequent hits from 15% to 10. So I think very similar to other gods, just in the inverse. I think other gods, other gods would get it to where like if you do additional damage, you do less. But I think Thoth had a very unique part of his kit where you do more based on subsequent hits. So now it's just 10. So his 1 isn't going to be hitting as hard, which is nice. And then Final Judgment, decreased damage scaling from 125 to 120. So 5%. Not a lot, but I mean, scaling is really important to mages, so it's going to be scaled down. It's going to be scaled down pretty significantly, even though it says 5%. Bake Kujira. So, this man has been a menace. There's 3 things here, so let's hope that this is a step in the right direction. Rough Waters, I believe this is his 1. Shifted max stacks from, so this is his 1. Shifted max stacks from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 8 at all ranks. So early game, he's actually going to be better, which is kind of insane. Wait, actually, let's see. Decreased protections per stack from 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1. Okay, so he's not going to be that much better. So instead of 2 per 6, so 12, now it's going to be 8. Okay, so okay, I didn't see this part. So actually, he's not going to be better early game, if I'm reading this correctly. Okay, I don't know what that was. It was like a lag. Anyways, yeah, so I think this is going to be definitely big nerf, I think, to his 1. Not the craziest, but less protections is always good for this type of nerf. Sonic Wave, this ability just was so busted. I mean, the fact that you could reduce its cooldown, you're having your 2 up so much. So decreased damage from 80 to 260 to 70 to 250. So 10 damage, still not the greatest, but remember, on Guardians, it's not about the scaling that matters, it's about the flat numbers for them. So this will actually have some impact. Yokai's Lament. This is his ult. Ship the damage increase debuff from 5/15 to 6 to 10. So you are doing more damage early until you level it up, and then you're not. So, oh wait, damage. So this will be his inner circle, because the outer circle is the slow. So that'll be interesting. This is cool. I think these are all just small tweaks. I think Bake is still going to be really good. And you're not going to notice it too much, but it is going to be, you know, not as much damage and as tanky as he once was. I think he still needs a little bit more, but I mean, this is, like I said, step in the right direction. Cuckoo, man, this guy needed a nerf a year ago, bro. Like, what the hell? Ever since they upped his 2, I mean, like, he's just been turbo broken, man. He's just been throwing out his 3, his 1, and then he just gets out with his 2 whenever the hell he wants. He was already one of those gods that had a standard set of play. Like, you would, a very safe, does a lot of damage, has a lot of secure, like your mage. That's like your epitome of like a really solid, always good pick mage, to where now he's been turned into you pick him or you fucking lose, because he does so much damage for no reason with this 3/1 being able to throw it across the map and just running away. So and I think he's had like the highest win rate in Conquest for however long. Decreased movement speed from 60 to 80 to 50 to 70, so that's nice. His 2 isn't going to be as crazy. I still like his change to his being slow immune for that long initially. Increased cooldown by 2 seconds, which is also good. His 2 is always up. And if you're going to change the 2 to be that impactful, I think you need to sort of balance it out with either cooldown or movement speed. So I think he's definitely toned back a lot here. And so I think he's kind of going back to that standard. He's still a lot better. Don't get me wrong. He's still a lot better, but his 2 isn't as impactful as it will be. Hachiman getting another nerf. Or no, he hasn't gotten a nerf. Getting a nerf. He's been buffed heavily, then nerfed a couple times, and then they just left him alone, I believe. So heavily banned, that's his 2, increased cooldown by 1 second, and then his ults increased by 10. Okay, so they're trying to make his safety factor a lot less, because your 2, I mean, that's just easy damage. So they don't want you to pump out as much numbers as you should, while also having an ult in a 3 that you can just get away from. So I'm not too pressed about that. I think he was always just safe, or ever since they changed. I mean, he's always that safe god. Anhur has actually been a sleeper pick. I did a video on that. He has, I think, the highest hunter win rate in ranked joust. Now, quote me wrong. You can quote me wrong, but I'm pretty sure the last time I checked, it's a couple days ago, he had the highest win rate. So this is, yeah, super safe. Does a lot of damage. And that's just because of his passive and shit like that. And his 1. Shifting sands decrease slow from 20 to 40 to 15 to 30. This slow isn't crazy. I remember I played up against Anhur. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I've been in this bitch for fucking 10 years. So yeah, his 1 is really bust, or one of his best. It's an underrated ability, I think, and I think it's super good if you're like a high skilled Anhur. Use your 1 for a lot of different things. So definitely a warranted nerf. Charon getting a nerf. All these gods that have an impact on Joust are getting nerfed. I like it. Charon and Joust has just always been good. Since he's been brought into the game, there's always a thing with Conquest and Joust where they basically nerf and buff things and change things based off Conquest, and it has residual effects on other game modes, but certain gods in other game modes, certain items in other game modes are going to be better or worse compared to Conquest. So I think Charon is one of them that falls under Joust, where he needs a proper nerf, like a really good nerf for Joust, same like Kuzumbo, other gods like that, but they won't, because all they care about is Conquest, which I've already gone over before, so I'll need to beat that dead horse. But this is really good. Charon having, let's see, Damnation, that's his 2, I believe. This is his shield. Decreased shield from 2.5 of Charon's health to 2% of Charon's health. So it's 0.5, but still decent in my opinion. Having less shield on Charon was always the annoying ass thing. He's so tanky, does so much damage, and then on top of the fact that you use your 2, he's even more tankier. So this is very good. Definitely much needed for Joust. Still gonna be very good. He's not gonna change anything, but at least it's not as impactful. Vimana, if you guys haven't seen, Vimana has been, I think, one of the best gods currently, which is weird because he was like trash after they changed his ult. But somehow, you know, I think a big thing was, these are the things I think happened to Vamana. The items that they buffed with the shield tree, for example, like they gave more health to all the shields, and then they also made it to where they were cheaper. And so your item like Phalanx, for example, on them is super good. Phalanx Berserkers makes them unkillable against any physical god. And then, you know, with the changes to I can't remember, Shoguns, he's doing even more attack speed. With his ult giving him so much shit, power, haste, or not really haste, but movement speed, which kind of acts like haste. Then you have, or not really, that's not really haste, you get haste and katana. You build haste and katana to get more movement speed, to then lock onto them, basically. So, yeah, whatever. He gets that, and then he also gets lifesteal, they changed that. And then he also gets shield. So there's so many things, man. There's so many things that they changed about this guy. And so, decreased lifesteal from 37.5 to 30. Oh, yeah, that's right. And then if you hit, and I think the change to lifesteal made it to where if you're hitting enemy gods, you're getting more lifesteal back. So that was like a direct nerf or buff to Vamana, because you're usually like tower diving and hitting enemies in their tower and life stealing. So if you're getting more lifesteal based on gods, and you're getting more power, and you're getting more movement speed, I mean, there's just so many, and the items are good. So that's basically what I think made him that much better. But let's see, decreased lifesteal from 37.5 to 30. That's pretty good. 30% lifesteal is still really fucking good though. So especially with those changes, decreased power from 35 to 75 to 25 to 40. Oh, that's a lot of power. Okay. Similar to Guardians, warriors are reliant on their base damage, so that's actually a lot. I like this. This is more impactful. But again, Vamana is just always gonna, it's something with Vamana, man. He's either trash or he's so fucking busted that he's turbo banned in every single mode. So yeah, we'll see. He's probably gonna be buffed, or he's probably gonna be broken again sometime, or become trash again. I don't think this guy can ever be truly balanced. I don't think. I think this guy needs a rework, in my opinion. All right, we're on to buffs. How much more do we have left? Pretty decent amount. I see some gods that you're getting some buffs. Interesting. Oh, okay. On to Hades. Speaking on your lifesteal items, on like your rejuvenating heart, here's Hades. Let's see. Added 10% protection debuff. I think that's his ult. They already added a lot of protections to his ult, because obviously he's just standing there. So if you're getting 10% protection debuff, okay, he's definitely going to be a lot more tankier. So he can definitely fit in that item like a mantle of discord, or like a breastplate or some shit like that. You can always insert that, and that's going to be really good for him. On top of the fact that rejuvenating heart with his 3, for example, giving him more lifesteal, he's going to be a tanky, your hybrid tanky god, I feel like. So you can go full damage, help out your teammate with your lifesteal, and then also be unkillable in his ult. All right, then we have Hebo. Hebo, ever since his changes, I think I already went over this, Bow not being a thing anymore, them nerfing his water cannon by like 1 second, class passive is hurting him the most because he relies so much on that power and scaling. He's just not that good right now. See, so they're increasing water cannon, increased damage to minions by 5%. That'd have been scary if it was like buff camps. And then decreased mana by 20 at the end. It's still 40 earlier in the game. Okay, so his late game's a little bit better here. I don't think that's going to do too much. I still think Hebo is really good once he gets online, but before then, he can be very much snowballed. So like outside of Conquest, I don't think he's going to be played that much anyways. Small nerf, or small buffs, I don't think it's going to do that much. Ooh, holy. Why are we buffing this guy, man? I understand he's like not that great in Conquest, but holy shit, is he fucking disgusting in Joust, man. And it's like the 4th buff to his 1. So his Ricochet is increased damage by 5, it looks like. 90 to 290, 95 to 295. Yeah, there's 5 power, not a lot, but Ricochet does, if you hit a Ricochet on the third Ricochet, then, I mean, he does so much fucking damage. So we're gonna see, to those people that know his combos and his Ricochet, you're gonna have way more fun with him. He already clears wave really well in Joust, I think, a lot better than he once was, and he's just gonna be doing more damage. So Good luck, everyone. This god's still really good and even better now. 5 damage doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're ricocheting and multiplying it, it's still gonna be... It's gonna be even better, a lot better. Alright. Jing Chen hasn't had gotten a buff or a nerf in a while. Let's see. A Furious Roar, increased damage reduction from 20 to 50, you guys didn't know. His one actually counters a lot of hunters, doing upwards of 50% less damage based on your autos. I believe it's autos. It doesn't say here, but I'm pretty sure it's autos. It's really changing. Okay, so early game is going to be a lot better by 5, it looks like. Or actually, it scales up. 10, I'm sorry, 10. Actually, it scales down when it comes up. Okay, so late game, it's going to be similar to 50%, but earlier in the game, you're going to be able to shut down hunters. So if you're not already picking up Jing Chen to snowball hunters, well, there you are. He's also getting a hook slam buff, decreased cooldown from 14 seconds to 12 as it scales up when you upgrade this ability. I mean, you really upgraded his 1 too anyways, and his ult obviously. There's gonna be more incentive to get his 2 because that was his shit. You hook slam him and it sets up for your team. Counts as a knock up and then a root. So Jing Chen, I like Jing Chen a lot. I like playing him into your hunter team comp, like a double guardian. For example, double guardian hunter is actually a really good god to go into. Cerberus, let's see. New effect, soul explosion. This is his 3 years old. I think this is his 3. Killing a god's soul grants you 2 seconds reduced cooldown on soul explosion. No, this has to be his 3, because you use your 3 and you get your little soul minion things that you kill. Oh my god, wait, that's insane. If you 3 gods, right, and you eat their souls, that's 6 seconds off your 3. Your 3 is basically back up, which means he doesn't die, or he's a lot more fucking tanky than he already will be, or unkillable, I mean, than he will be, because he just has his 3 up all the time. What the fuck? Okay. If that's working how I think it is, unless it's like 2 seconds regardless of the souls, but if it stacks, or like if you have 3 souls and you get up to 6, oh man. Okay, so he's just gonna have, his 3 is just gonna be up all the time. That's interesting. We'll have to see how that is. I'm gonna play Cerberus too. Jeez. Zhang Kui had that big buff. I think in season 10, where he get more prots in his passive. Let's see, they're increasing base attack speed from 86 to 95. Interesting. So those builds that you've been seeing with the full rings on Zhang might even be better. That'll be interesting. Zhang was one of those gods that can go that build, and it kind of troll, but at the same time it's really fucking broken if you get it online and you use it correctly, because you could have like 3 sources. It has like the best DPS in the game, I think, in terms of your auto attack gods. But usually you want to build them ability based, because if you go that route, you're not gonna have a lot of power, which means your 1, 2, 3 ult combo kind of sucks. You're not gonna be able to one shot. But we'll see about that. Demon Bag, this is his passive. Decrease max stacks from 40 to 30, and then increase protections per stack from 1. Okay, so very similar to Death's Temper. You're gonna get your stacks. You're gonna reducing the amount of stacks you have, but you're gonna be able to get it online sooner because the increased protections per stacks coincides with it. So actually, you're gonna be getting the same amount of. I'm not gonna do the math here because I'm assuming that's correct. You'll be getting the same amount of protections once you get up to 30, but you don't have to get up to 40 anymore. So you're actually gonna have your passive stacks. This is actually really good. Zhang Kui has just not been in the meta recently. I think he's gonna be a lot more here. You can go into like a Warlock staff and like some other tanky item, because Warlock staff gives you health and shit. This might be some more tech here. This could be cool. But overall, I don't think Zhang is going to do too much. Zhang is just going to make him more fun. I don't think he's going to be in the meta, but we shall see about that, because he was always your tanky ass damage dealer, one-shotty, mage. Kali getting a buff. I don't like that. As much as she's really not that great in the meta right now, regarding your jungler, I don't like buffing Kali. Kali being a menace on the map is never fun. She's so unplayable, or she's so hard to play into. So decreased cooldown from 15 to 14. Not a lot. I think this is her stun. I can't remember. I think this is her stun. But decreased cooldown by 1. Not the craziest, but I don't like that. Horus getting a buff. Let's see, increased cooldown or increased health, base health from 679, so a little bit more health. Increased health per level from 88. Well, that's a lot. Okay, that's pretty decent. You're getting 12 more health per level, which is nice. Resolute, increased heal from 1.6 to 4 to... Ooh, you're getting 3 more base healing and an extra 0.2. That's actually pretty cool. I like that. Now, I think this is his passive, right? So he gets healed, I think, based on, you know, the damage he's dealt. I can't remember. Either way, this is really nice. I don't think a lot of people know about this in his kit either. So that's... I love seeing Horus. Horus isn't performing well in Conquest, but in Joust, he's always good. He's so safe. He does what the fuck he wants. Does so much damage, too. Golden Blade tech is really nice on him. Hercules getting a buff. I'm starting to see a little bit of a pattern. Some of your guys that are ability based are getting buffed, but I'm not seeing a lot of nerfs to your auto attack gods, which I think they should be. Earthbreaker, increased base damage from 90 to 90 to 110. And I can't remember if this is his one or is this his ult? I can't remember. Either way, let's see. 20 power is a lot on Herc, especially with his passive getting more fucking power, shit like that. I think Herc is in a very good spot anyways, and that's just because Warriors are all in a good spot right now. So, I guess, cool. We're going to see him more often. Might have to start banning him again. Jesus. Ooh, a Nem buff. I love playing me some Nem. Let's see. Retribution. Increased shield from 100 to 420 to 150 to 450. Okay. So you're getting an extra 30 overall, 50 at the beginning, and it scales down to 30. Not a lot, but that's making her a little bit more survivable. I think she's always been a good assassin ever since they buffed her too and shit. Divine Judgment, that's her ult. Increased movement speed from 10 to 20 to 10 to 20. I'm sorry, what the fuck am I missing? Okay, so, oh yeah, that's weird. 10, 10, 15, 15, 20. Okay, so you upgrade your ult and you don't even get extra movement speed, but now they changed it to where now it's 2.5, but it's going to have more impact the more you level it up, rather than it skipping around. You're like level 3, it's like, oh, level 2 is like, I don't really get anything. Level 3 is like a big spike. Now it's just like a consistent spike to that level 20. So a little bit of, not really of a, it is a buff, but like, it's, what's the word? I don't remember what the word is right now, but it feels better, basically. And then last but not least, we have Chiron. What happened to all their non-conquest mode buffs? Bring those back. If you're not going to change anything specific to a game mode. Anyways, Chiron, giddy up. This is his 3. Increased base damage from 70 to 170 to 75 to 195. Okay, pretty good. Be careful, though. You don't want to upgrade someone's damage if they're already doing a fuck ton of damage. To be fair, though, Chiron isn't in the greatest spot anyways, with your auto attack hunters being really good right now, and they've been good for so long that your auto attack or your ability based hunters aren't feeling it as well. So that's actually kind of nice. They're increasing damage a little bit. Decreased mana cost from 70 to 90 to 70 at all ranks. That's a lot of mana for level 5 too. So to be fair, that sounds nice. I like that a lot. Small little changes, as they always do. That's it, I think. Yeah, small changes to all these gods. Some more than others, but going that same route, which seems to be working, which I'm not opposed to. But that's basically it. One of the big things I wanted to see with this, I wanted to see change, was warriors being toned down, specifically Vamana, which I did see, but other gods like Osiris, Bellona, Amma, their items are so good right now. As much as people don't want to or don't think, I've heard people say like Shogun's is worse now because it doesn't get the cooldown. I disagree. There's so many items with, I mean, cooldown is a bloated stat in my opinion. I want to see nerfs to Phalanx, Berserkers. I want to see change to Shoguns. I think they just give you too much. They give you so much for so little. They're just so cheap. And although you don't get as much cooldown, I mean, when you keep buffing gods like Osiris, it's like 7 consistent buffs in a row. There's going to be a change. There's going to be a time where all of it will change. And once we get into an auto attack based meta for warriors, well, we're in one. They're going to be so much better. And so I think your gods like Bellona, Amma, Vamana, obviously he got nerfed, but still items are very good on him. I still think he's going to be good. And like Osiris, I think they should all, I think there needs to be like a small tweak to those items. Very similar to Warriors Axe when they buffed it by 5 power. Or 10 power, I can't remember, I think it was 5 power. You know, eventually it's going to come around to where it's going to be busted, and they saw that Warriors Axe busted. They toned it down. They buffed the fucking shield tree and they changed Shoguns. I think this just small changes. I think that toned them down because they are very good. But overall, very solid update. I do like Newt or Nut. I do like Nut a lot. I'm gonna be playing her a lot. I'm gonna be edging with her, so that's gonna be very cool. I'm gonna play her a lot. I'll be making a video I'll be making a video with her soon. So, but what do you guys think about the update? Anything specific that you wanted to see or that you're glad that they changed? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you have any feedback, suggestions, or anything of that sort, let me know. Join the Discord. Let me know if you haven't already. But I think that's everything that I have for you. So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching.